Hey guys, welcome back to the Realms of Reading, and today I'm going to be reviewing Mistborn: The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. This is going to be the start of a little series I'm calling Mistborn Mondays, where each Monday for the next few weeks I'm going to review the original Mistborn books, talk about the characters, the world, the magic system, and really just delve into one of what is becoming one of my favorite fantasy series. So, without a further ado, let's get started. What is Mistborn about? Mistborn is about a girl named Ven who is drawn into this group of con men that are planning a heist to overthrow the Lord Ruler. And she meets this guy named Kelsear, who is sort of a legend among the people of this world. And he's leading this group, and he is what is known as Mistborn, basically somebody who can control all of the different types of magic available to the people of this world. And we'll get into that magic system here in a bit, but Kelsier recognizes that Ven is also a Mistborn, and so he trains her, teaches her what to do, how to use her powers, and yeah, so they're plotting to overthrow the big bad guy of this world, and I can't say much else without going into spoilers, so yeah. What did I think of it? It was honestly one of the best books I've ever read. It has a very like fantasy feel like you would expect from a fantasy book, but also it's very relatable for people that are living underneath this horrible totalitarian rule. You relate with Ven, you relate with Kelsier, and the characters are just amazing, and that's what I want to talk about next is just the characters are outstanding. They stick with you. There's Ven, obviously. She's very distrusting. She grew up in the streets, always had to rely upon herself and her brother who abandoned her. And so she's not very trusting. But she meets this group of people and eventually is brought in and becomes part of their family, sort of, and just learns to, like, grow comfortable with other people. And meanwhile, there's Kelsier, and he is a very unique guy. He's the kind of guy that, like, laughs at a funeral, not out of, humor making fun of somebody, but just he sees hope when there shouldn't be hope. And really that spreads to everyone else. And that's really what makes him like this great crew leader, but also he's incredibly smart and just knows what to do in almost any situation. There's Breeze, my favorite character. He's a very self-centered dude, or at least he tries to come off that way. He's one of those guys that cares about people way more than he lets on and tries to help without being obvious about it. There's Ham, the tough guy, who's actually a bit of a scholar. You have Spook, which he doesn't play much into the story. He's more of a background character, but later on in the series, he really improves. But yeah, the world is incredible. Mistborn is set on a planet called Scadrial, and the sun and the sky are red. Ash falls from the sky, and at night there's these mists that just like cover the land. And the the lower class, the Ska, fear the mists. The Ska are a group of slaves, like peasant slaves that are forced into oppression by the Lord Ruler, and they don't get paid. They don't get much of anything. They just are used and beaten down and murdered when they're not of any use. And they are controlled by the noblemen, which are a class of ultra rich people that help the Lord Ruler, continue his thing. And the noblemen, for the most part, are just horrible people. And Kelsier views them obviously that way, but noblemen were the people who originated allomancy, which is the world's magic system. And technically, they're the only ones that should have that power, but because of interbreeding throughout the past 1,000 years, Ska have gotten it, hence Kelsear and Ven both are Mistborn. And once again, I can't say too much about, you know, the magic system without spoiling things too much, but it's a really well thought out, detailed, complex magic system. Like, it's not just Gandalf pointed the staff and then the Balrog was defeated. Spoiler for Lord of the Rings, by the way, but I mean, not really, because that's not what happens, but it's very rule based. Like, actions have consequences, and you can't just go and do this or that thing. And it's just a very realistic look at how magic would actually work. Like, it's made me rethink for my own book what I want to do with magic, because just the way that Brandon Sanderson writes magic is just 11 out of 10. But yeah, so that's overall my view on this book is just it's an incredible story with wonderful characters and a detailed world and magic system. But I can't really say much without spoilers, so to give it a rating, it's a 10 out of 10 without a doubt, which is high praise considering, I mean, the next two books I would say are even better, but we're not getting into that right now. But for now, I'm going to talk about some spoilers, so if you don't care about spoilers or if you haven't read the book yet, whatever, click out if you don't want to be spoiled, but we're starting that in 3, 2, 1. Yes, so the Lord Ruler dies, obviously, but not just not he's not defeated in a way that is satisfying because he's killed by Vin and he basically says, "Oh, you're going to regret this. You've made a mistake." And she doesn't think too much about it in the moment, but wow, it's just the beginning. You wouldn't think like, "Oh, defeating the Dark Lord, that would take like 3 books." It happens at the end of the first book, and the aftermath is just wow. The setup for that is just incredible. But Vin, as a character, like her development throughout this book is just amazing. But to see like her go from this small, timid girl that doesn't trust anyone to this big warrior that defeats the god of these people is just incredible. But what Brandon set up in this first book is just a bunch of promises that are delivered threefold in later books, and it just makes for an incredible reading experience. Like, I really want to go back and reread this book just because what he did with it is just incredible, and I love it. But yeah, other than that, I guess that's all really that I wanted to say for today. But I'm probably going to do a separate video on Allomancy, the world's magic system, because it's worth a whole video by itself. But for now, I'm going to end it today. So thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like the video, leave a comment. And yeah, so thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye.